Before you start using Nano Banana 2 inside Google Flow, watch this tutorial first. It will save you time and make the process much easier. You can search for Google Flow in your search engine, and usually the first result says Google Labs, since there are more tools that you can find in Google Labs. So if you open that page, you get to the Google Flow page, and you can click on the Create with Flow button to access it. Then you can log in with any Google Gmail account. Once you log in, you can start generating for free. I have a pro account, so my limits are higher and I can generate more images, but you can just switch your Gmail account to another Gmail account when you hit the limit. If you used it before, you can see the projects you created. Let's click on the New Project button to create a new project. By default, it will add a date, but you can rename it however you want, so you know what that project is about. Press the checkmark button to apply it. As you can see, you can add a prompt and start creating, or add images to edit. Go to the plus sign, and since the project is new, we do not have any assets yet, so we can use this arrow pointing up to upload images. You can upload up to 14 distinct images in a single request to guide the model on style, objects, and characters. Within those 14 references, the model can specifically track and maintain the identity of up to 4 unique characters and 10 specific objects simultaneously. Once the image finishes uploading, it will be automatically added to the prompt area. You can also add this image anytime if you click on those 3 dots and select Add to Prompt. To remove an image, you can just click on the X icon. So now when you press the plus icon, you have access on the left to all assets you uploaded or generated in this project. You can search for assets or sort them. So let's say I select this woman, and let's add maybe an object. Since you already added that image to the prompt, it does not show here anymore. So let's go and click on that upload button, and let's select this magic potion. Wait for it to be uploaded. So now we have both images here, and you can add up to 14 images. Now here in the bottom right, you have a tab for images and one for video, and today I will focus on images. Then you can do portrait or landscape format. I will keep it on landscape. And then you can generate from 1 to 4 images at once. Since I have Pro, most of the time I generate 4, so I can pick the best from those. Then here you have Nano Banana Pro and Nano Banana 2, and I kind of prefer Nano Banana 2, since with Nano Banana Pro you can hit the limit faster, but with Nano Banana 2 I generated for a few hours without hitting the limit. If you have the free version, you will hit it much faster. So let's prompt something that uses the woman in the bottle. Maybe the woman is wearing a black outfit like a witch, and she is holding a blue magical bottle. Then use this button to generate. Maybe I will use 3 generations at once so it fits better on the screen. So one of the generations failed for some reason. It was not the prompt, so it must have been something technical. On each image you generate, you have this back arrow that lets you reuse the prompt. So when I click on it, it adds the prompt, but also the images we used in that prompt, so it is quite useful. So now we can generate again. We can do that a few times, and we can generate multiple versions. Depending on how many people are generating, sometimes I can get away with 12 to 16 generations at once. And you can see the percentage of how much time it takes for each image to finish. It takes a few seconds, but it is quite fast, I would say. It is much faster than using it in Google Gemini, since you can do multiple images at once and it does not have a visible watermark from the start. It still has an invisible watermark though. And after a few seconds, I got a few generations. I can go and click on one to see it bigger. Let's go back. Let's select another one. This looks good, but the background kind of remained from the original image. But the good part is we can actually change this if we want. Let's adjust the prompt to replace the background, maybe with a fantasy castle interior. And from here, you can also change the Nano Banana version, and you can also make it portrait if you want. Let's generate. And the good part is that we now have history here, and we can see all the changes for this image. If we go back, you can see that the image is still generating, and when it is finished, you can see it has a layers icon to show that there are multiple images there, not just one. So if we open that image now, the background was replaced, And we can select the first one again if we want and prompt again. Or we can just compare it with what we have now. The face quality changed a little, and that can happen when you keep the same images and only change portions of it. We also have more tools on the left. We have a crop tool that lets you crop in different ratios or freeform. So I can select square if I want, and when I hit crop, I get that image in a square ratio, and you can still see the original image before the crop in history. If I go to crop again, I can select portrait, and you can use the corners to make it smaller, or you can click and drag to move that crop and select the portion you want. And when you are happy, you click on crop, and again, you get a new image in that ratio. So I can go again to the original one and change it and do different edits if I want. Let's say I like this one, but since it lost a little bit of quality, I like to change the angle a little so it will generate a new image that usually fixes that quality downgrade. So now it generated in landscape because of how it was set here. I can copy the prompt and I can select the portrait one, change it to portrait instead, and then paste the prompt and generate again. So now it will generate in a portrait ratio. And as you can see, it lets me generate multiple times here also, not one by one like in Gemini. So now we got more of an angle for the face. You can regenerate a few times since like any AI, it does not get it right all the time and needs a few tries. For the landscape, it did the side view but changed the face a little bit, so you keep generating until you see one that is consistent the way you want. Once you like one, you can use the download button. You can download the original one or the upscaled version. And most of the time I use upscale to 2K because it is quite good. You just have to wait a few seconds for it to be upscaled. And 4K is available only if I upgrade, which I would not. For the info icon, you can see the prompt and date and what model was used. Let's go back to the main page. Now if we click on the plus sign, we can see a lot of assets for this project, all we uploaded and also the generations we did so far. So you can pick from the list and use them. Let's try a different project now. I want to do something with a Viking warrior. I check the project settings to make sure they are what I need, so maybe landscape and generate 3 images at a time. Then I prompt for a portrait photo of a Viking warrior, and I also copy the prompt. Then I generate, I paste the prompt, and generate again. After half a minute or so, I got all 6 images. I kind of like this one. So let's open that one. Let's see what these selection tools do. Let's try first the box selection. You just drag and make a selection. Then you prompt for what you want to change. Maybe say add the sun visible through clouds. Make sure the ratio is good, and I generate. Then I copy the prompt and I select the original image. This time I will use the lasso tool to make a selection, and then I generate again. So now we got the sun in that selected area and another version for this selection. So those selection tools can help guide the AI to know where to do the changes in that image and in what area. Then we also have another tool that I kind of use more than the selection. You have a pen that you can use to sketch on top of the image to guide it. You also have text, and you have a rectangle that you can use. Let's say I take this pen, and then maybe I do a little sketch of how I want some horns on the helmet. Then I take the pen again, I select a green color, and then I draw over the shield. Maybe I do a cross design or something. Then I say to add the horns to the helmet like in the red sketch, and add a shield with the cross on it like in the green sketch. And then I generate, and I got the changes with nice horns on the helmet. For the shield, it was not exactly how I wanted. When that happens, make sure you give more details about how you want the shape, the design, and so on. Or let's try another option. Let's go back to the main page, and I will generate a few versions of shields so I can pick one that I like. Maybe I do this in portrait so I have a bigger area for the design. And I got 3 different shields, and I kind of like the middle one. It would have helped if I prompted it to be isolated on a solid color, but maybe next time. So let's try something. Let's go to this Viking image, and now I will search for that shield that I like, and I will add it to the prompt, and then let's see if it can replace the shield with the one from the attached image. So I got a shield, but I do not like the position, so you probably need to do it a few times to get it right. Let me go back to the previous image. I will search for the shield again, add it to the prompt, add the text prompt, and maybe add some extra words to make it hold it more naturally. I usually use Gemini or ChatGPT for prompts, but this time I wanted to keep it simple for the tutorial. Now the result I got has a different shield, so it is kind of slow to edit one by one, and not every seed is good. Maybe if I add some sketch with the pen, I can guide it. Let me try it really quick. So now it is down a little like in the sketch, but it messed up the shield. Also, the quality downgraded a little for the overall image. So let's go back to the main page to see if we can find a better option. But first, let me copy one image. I liked this version of the image, so I right-click and copy the image. Then I go back. In the prompt area, I paste that image, and when it finishes loading, it is added to the prompt. Then I go and search for the shield asset, and let's see if it can do it with the Viking warrior holding the shield from the image. And again, do a more complex and detailed prompt for better results. I just kept it simple for the tutorial. So now all the images have the same shield in different positions, and I think I like this one better. So let's see if we can add that to favorites. We have this little heart we can use, and then you can sort the images from here and check the favorites here, and also you can check all your uploads from here. And also you have more settings here, and you can change the view, you can change the grid size, you can show details, and so on. From here, you also have more filters, so there are a lot of options in this simple interface. And of course, you can search for assets. I think I will keep it at medium size. Okay, let's go to the three dots and add this to the prompt. Then let's create a dynamic cinematic scene of this warrior on a black unicorn. And let's generate it 2 times so we get 6 images. Some are bad, some are good, so generate a few times to get one that has fewer mistakes. Sometimes it has problems with proportions. Also, in this case, each shield is different, so it did not take into account the shield it had. I should have probably mentioned in the prompt to keep it consistent. Let's try something else. Let's add this to the prompt, then also add the shield. And we need a prompt. Let's see if I pick this prompt. That prompt had a different image associated with it, and it removed my shield. So let's add the shield again. So now we have the warrior and the shield. And let's mention that shield in the prompt also. And maybe add one axe mentioned in his hand too. And let's generate. And I will do another set. So now we got a more consistent shield. Well, almost in all of them. In this generation, it made it round. Again, some of the images are okay, some have some proportion problems. Like if we check this one, look what it did with the horse. There is a glitch in the matrix. But some of them, like this one, look quite nice, and you can keep generating from it. Maybe I want it to look like a winter scene, and to improve the quality and fix mistakes, and let's see what I get. That is pretty cool. I like it. So what else can we do? Let's see if it can give me an idea for the next scene, and I will generate another one since we know it can make mistakes. So having multiple generations can help. So we got this scene like the Vikings just arrived or something, and then there's this one that tries to point to that flag to show me something, like there was a battle here or something. It also made the horse or the unicorn smaller, and in the previous image, it also had this glitch where we have only half of the horse. So always check your generations for mistakes, and most of them can be selected and fixed. Let's go back to the main page, and let's create a Viking logo. I want something 3D on a solid black background. And let's see what we got. All of them came out quite nice. I like it. Maybe this one is one I could use. By the way, on the 3 dots, you have a rename function, so you can give them different names so it is easier later to find them in assets. So let's go to one of the Viking images, and now click on plus, and I will search for that final logo, and I want the logo somewhere in the top left, but let me see if I can guide it. Maybe I add a selection using this box, and this position should work. And now let's prompt it to add the logo to the scene, and to place it in that area I selected. And let's see what we get. So it did add the logo there, but that image was bigger, and inside it had the logo smaller. So maybe I should have made the selection a little bigger. Anyway, what is important is that we can control stuff, where to put it, and for the things that we cannot, there are always tools like Photoshop. Let's go back to the main page, and let's see what other image I like. Maybe this one. It looks quite interesting. Let's see if I draw a box and then I prompt for a banner, something to thank my supporters who subscribe to membership. I forgot to mention in the prompt to add the banner in that selection, so it added it somewhere in the middle. Let's try again. Maybe this time, instead of a selection, I will just draw a big rectangle, add the prompt, and then I will edit the prompt this time to mention either the selection like it was before, or the red box that we have now. And let's see if it can do it. And it worked great, better than I expected. What do you think? So we saw that Nano Banana 2 is better than the first Nano Banana. In some cases, it might be better than Nano Banana Pro. It does make mistakes, but it is also quite fast, and we can generate multiple images, and it is quite fun to play with. And if you can afford a Pro subscription, it is worth having those bigger limits just to have fun a few hours each day with image editing. And once you have an image that you like, of course you can animate it, but that costs credits. You have like 100 if you have a free account and 1,000 if you have a Pro account. So let's see what else we can put for an end frame. Maybe I do something like a video intro or outro that ends with the logo. Let's prompt for a cinematic movie scene. Video intro, smooth transition to a logo. Maybe mention the Viking on the horse too. And let's see what we get. So that is all for today. If you found something useful, leave a like and a comment to help me with the YouTube algorithm so I can make more tutorials for you. Have a great day, and I will see you on Discord.
Vikings are here. They came from the cold north, and now they stand at our gate.